Yeah. Doot, doot. He is Mark Malusis. I am Keith Irizarry. It is Moose and Keith. Lucy Burdge will join us this hour. She's got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're going to do NBA. We're going to do baseball. We're going to do football. But Moose, I didn't tell you this yet. I got to lead the story off a little bit, the show a little bit different with a story here. You ready for this?
Sure.
Let me ask you a question. When's the last time you were stung by a bee?
It's got to be like 13, 14. I don't know. Probably longer than that, 20 years ago.
Yeah. So the last time I can remember being stung by a bee, I was a child. Yesterday afternoon, had a little bit of time, went out for lunch with my sister who had the day off from work and my parents. And my sister has a boat, so we went down to like the dock area and we sat in these lounge chairs and we sat. It was really nice. I got a chance to just just the four of us, never happens. And we were just talking. I'm sitting there and I got stung by a bee in the arm like that. I'm like, what the what? I don't know if you can see this. I don't know if you can. I have a big bruise now on my arm. There was like this big red mark there. I got stung by a bee. Who gets stung by a bee? I was just sitting there.
I don't know. Are you all right? You're not allergic to it, are you?
No, I guess I'm not allergic. No, because there was like a little dot. So I looked at my father. I'm like, Dad, you have to pee on that, right? Like, that's what we have to do. And he's like, no, that's jellyfish. I was kidding. But yeah, no. So now it's just a little bruise. It definitely is still a little bit itchy, but whatever. You move on.
Good. You got the stinger out? Everything's okay.
I don't know. I don't know if I got the stinger out. I don't know.
All right. But you're all right.
Yeah, I think it was just, a lone bee that was, ready to attack for no reason. I was just sitting there minding my own business.
Oh, there you go. All right, cool. Well,
I will say,
okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm good. Through that experience, and you live to tell the tale.
Yeah, I would say that bee had more sting than the New York Giants.
Yes, yeah, the Giants were terrible last night. They were. I mean, and Seattle had their way and knocked them around 24-3. Good morning to everyone in the chat session. And yeah, I feel like sometimes we live in a world in which people just want to grab onto the low-hanging fruit. And that is the case now, where you look at all the conversation coming out of last night was about Daniel Jones. And I understand he's the fourth highest paid player in the National Football League. I get that he was not good last night. I understand he threw a pick six to Devin Witherspoon, the young rookie corner, who was the fifth overall pick out of Illinois, by the Seattle Seahawks. And he looks like an absolute stud for Pete Carroll and the Seahawks. I get all that. He had a 46% pressure rate last night. The Giants' offensive line allowed 11 sacks.
By the way, I can do math. 46% is about 50%. So about half the time he was getting hurt. Okay, go
right. The Giants set a modern team record for sacks allowed in a game with 11 last night. I think the NFL record is 12. He got hit 7 or 8 other times. He was also scrambling and running for his life. I mean, Daniel Jones probably took in the neighborhood, of 30 hits last night over the course of that game. Like, you had Carl Banks toward the tail end of the broadcast saying he feared for the health of Daniel Jones with the way that offensive line was playing and how poorly they were playing up front. And we're going to come out of that game to where now the question is going to be about whether or not Daniel Jones can win. Listen, the Giants have got a multitude of problems, and I know that Jones has got to play better. And the headline is going to be that Daniel Jones and getting into it with the head coach Brian Daboll on the sideline after he threw that pick six and the frustration that you saw. They've got a myriad of other issues on that team. Do you realize that they only attempted 2 passes last night over 10 yards? How do you do that in the modern day NFL? I mean, in terms of, the ball in the air past 10 yards, only 2 pass attempts last night. Everything was within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage. You can't win and you can't orchestrate a winning offense in the National Football League that way, but everyone wants to go out there. And Jones needs to be better. I'm not telling you he doesn't. But last night's loss is not just indicative of the failures of Daniel Jones. It's not like any aspect of that Giants team played particularly well. You had missed tackles on the Noah Fant catch and run on a 3rd and long where he ended up down at the 1 yard line. They ended up punching that in with a Kenneth Murray short touchdown run. I mean, the Giants are 1-3. And now they're going to be taking on the Miami Dolphins this upcoming Sunday, and then they go on. They're playing a night game against.
They're going to be 1-5. Like, I mean, barring they're going to be 1-5.
Right. I mean, they're going to be 1-5, and all the good vibes and feeling that you had from the Giants a year ago are going to be out the door.
Yeah. All right. So I think that we live in a world. There's the group of people that are going to get on, like, go to work today, or like us, get on the airwaves and just roast and rip apart Daniel Jones, right? And I think it's clear you and I are not going to do that right now, because
listen, I'm not making excuses for him. He's got to be better, but let's not all of a sudden just kind of like grab onto the low hanging fruit, as I mentioned, and be like, oh, last night was all on the number 8 shoulders. That's just not the truth.
Exactly. So there's that side, right? But then there's also like the side that's going to make excuses for Daniel Jones too, and I don't want to do that either. So that the side that's going to do he doesn't have any weapons, Saquon is injured, which is kind of true. His offensive line stinks, which is kind of true. Oh, wait a second. The coach didn't maybe call the best protection plans. Oh, wait a second. Maybe it isn't always on the QB. Like, I understand that the quarterback, and just like in other sports where, in baseball, the manager gets fired because you have to chop the head off of some sort of snake, right? And in football, it's really easy when a game goes awry to just crush the quarterback. I mean, how many times has the media and the fan bases just decided to just absolutely shred Kirk Cousins because the team loses, but he still does pretty well, right? And it's always Kirk Cousins' fault. It's not always the QB's fault. Last night's loss for the Giants was many, many layers. Coaching was bad. Offensive line was bad. The receivers didn't help. There was no run game. The defense wasn't great. And Daniel Jones was below average. That is a recipe for not success. There you go. And then, by the way, Seattle actually played a pretty good game. So put it all together. It was a bad night.
Yeah,
the problem
it was right, and that's the problem.
I don't see a win coming up either.
Well, that's the other issue. And that last night's game, even though the Giants were a 2.5-point home dog going into that game against Seattle, you looked at that game and saying that is a winnable game for the New York Giants, and that was coming off a mini bye, and they didn't look particularly good. I mean, honestly, I thought they played better against San Francisco, and they lost that game by daylight than they did last night against Seattle. And you're saying to yourself, well, I mean, what's going on with the Giants? This is a team that was pretty buttoned up a year ago, didn't beat themselves, didn't turn the football over, were pretty staunch defensively. Wink Martindale was taking bows. He was on the head coaching interview circuit during the offseason, as was Mike Kafka. And now you look at this team, and they're 1-3. And this is not just the fact that they missed Thomas, their left tackle, and Saquon Barkley didn't play. There are other issues with this team that transpired last night, and it's not going to get any easier. Now you go down to South Beach, in the heat and humidity down in South Florida, taking on a Dolphin team that just got boat raced by the Buffalo Bills. I mean, how is that going to look when you're looking at this secondary going up against Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, throwing HEN? I mean, they've got one track star after another on that Dolphin team. How is exactly that going to look? And I thought Carl Banks made a great point last night on the broadcast, and I love Carl, and does a great job, legendary Giant, where he said every defensive line the Giants have gone up against looks the same. Now, you go up, and what does he mean by that? Well, you take on the Dallas Cowboys and the 49ers. Well, they've got really good defensive fronts, so you expect their defensive line is going to be very, very good. You take on Seattle and Arizona. Seattle and Arizona should not look like San Francisco and Dallas, and they have. And that is a massive issue for this Giant coaching staff and this Giants team moving forward.
You're right. I mean, there's issues there. There is. The other thing, if we want to just double back to Daniel Jones for a second, is that I had a friend of mine last night, actually, that you know as well. He's a board op over at FAN. I had a friend of mine text me, and he loves to kind of like, push the envelope a little bit with some of his takes. And it was on a group thread, and it's a bunch of Giants fans on that group thread. And he put the numbers of Trevor Siemian for his 3-year stint of okayness in the NFL, and Daniel Jones, and they're the same, right? And he's like, see, Trevor Siemian is struggling to stay in the NFL, and Daniel Jones should be in the same boat. And I'm not trying to defend Daniel Jones, but I think that like it's not the right comparison because Daniel
No.
Jones also ran for 708 yards last year. Daniel Jones only turned the ball over 6 total times last year. Now, I would love to see Daniel Jones turn into a better thrower of the football. I would. I would love to see him be able to take a step forward as a quarterback, meaning throwing the football. But the fact that he adds in that athletic ability there, I can't start comparing Daniel Jones to, borderline NFL QBs. I can't do that.
No, I mean, neither can I. I mean, first off, he can athletically play the position, and he showed to this team that they wanted to invest in him. And I know it's a 2-year commitment. So, but now we're going to get on to the idea of, well, this is now a Daniel Jones problem. And I don't think it is. It's not a fair comparison when you're looking at it. Not every record is one and the same. Not every quarterback is one and the same. You would never compare Trevor Siemian and Daniel Jones athletically. It'd be an unfair comparison. Daniel Jones is, his ability to use his legs, but they look terrible. But, with all that being said, and, we're in New York and the Giants, and you had expectations coming into the year and you had a thought process. I mean, the Giants are a bad football team. I mean, there's no other way to cut it. That is what they are through the first 4 weeks and first nearly quarter of this NFL regular season at 1-3. And the Jets, all expectations for them went out the window 4 plays into the year when they lost Aaron Rodgers for the season. And that's coming off as the baseball playoffs get going today. The Mets hiring a new president of baseball operations, David Stearns, announcing that yesterday. I was out at Citi Field. That's why we're coming to you here today on a Tuesday and not our normal spot on a Monday, because I had to go out there and cover it for WPIX. And the Yankees are doing an internal audit about how they use analytics and why this season went so awry. So the New York sports fan hasn't had a lot to cheer about.
It's a weird time for New York fans.
The New York sports fan hasn't had a lot to cheer about as of late, and they were looking forward to football, and now you get this. With that being said, though, give credit to the Seattle Seahawks. First and foremost, I mean, Pete Carroll must be the most spry 72-year-old that I've ever seen in my life.
I want his genes.
Number 2 is, Geno Smith, give him credit for coming back into that game last night. Whatever, and I think a lot of people, myself included, were jumping off the Seattle bandwagon or the train after they lost opening week against the Los Angeles Rams. And what have they done the last 3 weeks? Well, they've won football games. And I know it's not a who's who. You go out and you beat Detroit and they take care of Andy Dalton and Carolina Panthers, but then you go out there and beat the Giants. I get it. The Lions are a good football team. That's a hell of a win and a tremendous bounce back win by Seattle. But here the Seahawks are sitting here at 3-1 through the first 4 weeks, and they are a massive playoff contender, and they know who they are. They've got great veteran leadership, and they've got a hell of a young cornerback in Devin Witherspoon, who put on an absolute show last night. I mean, that is as good of a game for a young corner in the NFL that I've seen in quite some time.
Yeah, what was it? It was 2 sacks. It's the pick 6, and was it a forced fumble also?
Yeah, it was just crazy.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. I remember, by the way, you and I sitting here, and the only thing that kept us from jumping off the bandwagon from Seattle, I remember me posing this question to you, and your response was, we'll see in a few weeks. And I think we've seen. The LA Rams aren't bad.
No, they're not.
Yeah, and that's what it is, right? I remember saying, the only way that this isn't a bad loss is if in a couple weeks we find out the Rams are not as bad as we thought they were going to be.
Healthy. His arm looks healthy. His arm looks
great.
better. Yeah,
Nakua is really good.
Yeah.
Kyron Williams is turning into a borderline stud running back, and Cooper Kupp should be back this week.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Does the play of Puka Nakua, right, does that downplay the brilliance of Cooper Kupp?
A little. Yes, I think it does. Now, you could also say that because there was a whole report this week about how Puka Nakua and Cooper Kupp became buddies during like training camp and stuff like that. And Cooper Kupp was like giving him all the secret sauce, essentially, like telling him all the secrets of the position and almost coaching him. And then when Cooper Kupp goes out, Puka Nakua just steps into that role. Maybe it does a little bit. Yeah, it might. It's going to be interesting, though, to see how the two of them coexist on the field because they're the same wide receiver. So Cooper Kupp is going to have to either move to the outside and play a little bit of a different spot, or Puka Nakua's numbers are going to drop. Like, I don't know how they work, but it's a problem I would like to have.
I get it. I don't know how they look, but I think we can, if you can have a rookie step in and be as remarkably productive as Puka Nacua has been for the Los Angeles
And not a
Rams.
highly touted first
And
round
not
rookie.
a fifth round draft choice, right?
Yeah.
I think we could look at Cooper Kupp and say, was it Kupp or was it just necessarily the offense or Stafford's comfortability of throwing to him? I'm not telling you that Cooper Kupp's not great.
Sure.
But I mean, Puka Nacua is setting NFL records. I mean, he is setting legitimate NFL records here through the first month of his NFL career. I mean, it's utterly ridiculous.
Yeah, I love the on pace numbers. And again, it's 4 weeks, but like the on pace number, he's shattering
And
everything.
was there anybody in the fantasy world that predicted this?
No, I did not. Now,
he was available after the first week on the waiver wire.
When Cooper Kupp went out with injury, okay, before the season began, it was, is it Van Jefferson or is it Tutu Atwell? I don't remember people saying Puka Nacua. I don't.
Neither do I. I gotta be honest with you. Neither do I.
If we're wrong, by the way, if anybody in the chat could actually not just, I said it or whatever, like if anybody in the chat has like receipts of this, if there was anybody in the fantasy, space that was talking about Nacua could be the dude, send it to us. You could social media, whether it's Moose on Twitter or X, I guess, or me on X, or in the chat.
X.
Send it to us.
Yeah,
X.
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 Who doesn't love it? That's right. X. Degenerate. X.
You like that?
It was a great time to be a wrestling fan. There's no
yes,
doubt. He's Keith Arizari. I'm Mark Malusis. It's Moose and Keith. When we come back, mix a little NBA into the course of the conversation. Training camp's getting going. The association regular season is right around the corner. And thank God I'm a Knicks fan. I'm looking forward to Knicks
Really?
basketball.
Thank God, because now they're what are they, the fifth best odds in the East?
I don't care. I really don't care. They're going to play quality. They have a chance to be, I was out there. I was talking to Ed Cohen yesterday.
Love Ed.
Yeah, Ed's great. And, I would go, they've got a shot to be, a 47+ win team. He goes, absolutely. They really do. I mean, they're not a championship team. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid. They're not Milwaukee and they're not Boston, but do they have a chance to have a really good regular season? Yeah. And you know what? I'm going to get the popcorn out and I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to enjoy it.
I'm with you.
I honestly can't take the football teams here. The baseball teams were terrible. So we'll come back. We'll talk a little NBA. Baseball playoffs get going today. We'll get into that as well. It's Moose and Keith with you on a Tuesday right here, Better Sports Network.
Oh boy, we got a big one. We got a big card here. We got
let's go.
We got a super rookie.
Ooh.
Do you guys want to guess who the big card super rookie is? Because
I'm going to guess somebody from the Dallas Cowboys, but I don't recall who were rookies in those particular years. So I'm going to guess Michael Irvin.
Adam?
Jared kind of convinced me to go Troy Aikman there.
I'm going to read the description. In this player's NFL debut, September 10th, 1989, he produced an electrifying 68-yard punt return for a touchdown.
Sanders.
He became the first athlete in the 20th century to hit a home run, September 5th, 1989, for the Yankees at Seattle, and score a touchdown in the same week.
That needs a sleeve. That one needs a sleeve.
Top
100%.
super rookie, neon, prime time, Deion Sanders.
I wasn't that far off. He played for the Cowboys.
I was going to say Deion, and then when you said the early 90s Cowboys, I'm like, Aikman would be a good guess. So I go with your gut is the lesson there.
And there it is, the white and red Falcon jerseys that you said Deion came in with before they changed to black.
That was because the starting lineup for Deion his rookie year has got the red helmet with the white jersey.
Now look at that do. I mean, are you kidding me with that hair?
I mean, you got to have a headband with those curls. You got to.
That is sick. And this is a favorite card. Do we have any value on this card? We have to, right?
Let me see.
Give me a value here.
Let's see here on eBay. PSA 10 gem mint Deion Sanders, $149.99. And then a 9.5 is $6. So that guy might be a little bit then there's a much more reasonably listed one at $31 for a PSA 10. So it's got some value to it. Yeah, you might want to protect that one.
It's in excellent condition. I guess we have to worry about, is it centered?
Yes, that would be the next thing.
All right, well, we'll go through the process there. Maybe I'll just frame that one as a great moment in this show's history.
There's a list of guys in the league that you always think you'll never have a real chance to get, that you think are perfect fits and that you'd love to be a Celtic, and Jrue was one of those guys, and everybody can see what he does on the court. Multiple-time All-Star. The defense has been well documented. He's an elite teammate, elite competitive character. It's not one that you predict. You knew the price was going to be really high, but he's a guy that we think is a great fit for us. You know, guys like Jrue Holiday are the only reason you ever entertain moving on from a guy like Rob. That's really tough. Malcolm had to be included in the trade because of the money aspect of how these trades work, but Malcolm had every right to be frustrated with us. That said, I was not concerned with regard to if Media Day started today and Jrue Holiday didn't become available, that he was going to be a professional, because that's what he is. He's a good guy. He's a good teammate, and he understands the business aspect of this, and I think he'll do really well.
It's Moose and Keith with Mark Malusis and Keith Irizarry.
Brad Stevens there talking about Jrue Holiday. Deal comes down. Boston Celtics markedly better when you throw in Holiday, obviously, with Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown up there in Beantown. Throw in Kristaps Porzingis if he could ever stay healthy, being what he's going to be offensively. You know, that's the trickle-down effect when you look at the Eastern Conference. Give Portland and their general manager a ton of credit for what he was able to do, and, you know, put kind of between the rock and the hard place. And, you know, in the end, maybe Dame Lillard was like, you know what, I'll stay. And he's like, no, we're good. We're going to move on from you. After everything that went down, reportedly, that's something that did transpire, did happen, Keith. So give him he got a king's ransom. He played it brilliantly. You know, he makes a deal with Milwaukee, you know, gets unprotected picks later on down the line that could be really, really attractive for the Portland Trailblazers, takes a piece that he gets from Milwaukee and turns it out and brings in even more pieces to the Portland Trailblazers and more, and another unprotected pick down the line as well. Portland's general manager did an unbelievable job.
Yeah, ultimately this could end up being 5 or 6 first-round picks for Portland. And what I love what Portland did too, they're not going to be god-awful this year. Like, they're going to be competitive. So normally, when you trade away a super uber star like Damian Lillard, you're saying we're tearing it all down and we're going to be bad for the next 3 or 4 years. They've got Scoot Henderson. They've got Anthony Simons. They've got Shaedon Sharpe. They've now got DeAndre Ayton. They've got the guys that they just got from Boston and Malcolm Brogdon if he stays there, and Robert Williams. Like, and
you know what? Williams is a piece you can move.
Exactly. So, like, if you want to make
Brogdon's a piece you can move too. If you want to get more draft capital or younger player, Brogdon's a piece that would be really attractive to a contending team right now.
Or you could keep those guys, and you could probably compete to be a play-in round team if you want to.
Yes.
You keep your fan base a little bit excited because you may have some potential playoff possibilities, and you've got these 3 young players that actually 4 if you're including Ayton. So with Scoot, Ayton, Simons, and Sharpe, you have 4 young players that you're considering could be pieces to build around. And now you're hoping you get a first-round pick that lands. And now you're right back in the thick of things. Like, they did great. But you're right. Now, with the Boston side of things, listen, they're weak on the bench. They don't have much. It's, you know, Derek White and Peyton Pritchard. And then after that, you really don't have much. And they're banking a lot on Al Horford, who's like our age, and Kristaps Porzingis to stay healthy. But I'll take my chances with Jrue Holiday, multi-time All-Star, and one of the best defensive guards in all of the NBA that can also play offense. And then Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. Yeah, I'll take my chances with that.
Yeah, and maybe I could add a piece of a veteran that's a buyout later on.
Exactly.
And he's able to hop on, and I'm able to add some depth. But you're right about that. Let's hear from Jaylen Brown. We got the cut on players that he grew up with in Boston with the Celtics that are no longer there. Let's play that cut.
I didn't really have anything to say. I played with Smart for majority of my career. Regardless of what jersey he has on, that's still my brother, and I feel the same way about Rob. It's like going through high school and middle school with somebody. Played together with Smart for 7+ years, with Rob for 6+. Grew up with these guys. For them not to be around is a little bit weird, but I know those guys are going to do great. Your reaction is not in belief at first, and then reality settles in and you move forward.
from someone that's played against and matched up with him, what is Jrue Holiday like as a defender?
Jrue is fantastic. Tremendous amount of respect from Jrue, from somebody who he's guarded and I've had to guard. He plays with a certain force that you could just feel. He's a super solid man. And as a competitor, he's an assassin to be playing alongside, because it'd be, a tremendous honor.
There you have it. I mean, well said by Jaylen Brown. And hopefully he worked on his handle during the course of the offseason as well, because that was an issue during the playoffs last year.
Have to handle the ball. Tatum and Jrue were there. Are you good?
He was Mr. Turnover in big time spots. But I love it. I poke because I'm jealous. I wish Jaylen Brown was a New York Knick, but he's a Boston Celtic.
So good in Knicks uniform.
But you look at it right now, NBA title odds, the Celtics with that acquisition of Holiday, the bettors aren't fearful of the bench right now. When you look at the Boston Celtics, they're plus 380, as are the Milwaukee Bucks. The defending NBA champs are plus 550, as Nikola Jokic is being asked whether or not he knows who Deion Sanders is, and basically says, I have no idea who Deion Sanders is. Suns are plus 550, Lakers 13-1, the Warriors sitting there at 17-1. But the two teams that lead the marketplace are both in the Eastern Conference, Keith.
I like Milwaukee a little bit better, I think. I think I like the idea of Lillard, Giannis, Middleton, with Brook Lopez, with Bobby Portis, with a few of the other guys coming off the bench. I think I like that team a hair better than Boston. If for nothing else, it feels like a healthier potential team than the Celtics. I think the Nuggets, again, are getting not enough love. We can go back to last year, and you were the king of this. You were talking when they were 12-1, 10-1 going into the postseason. You kept saying, why? Listen, they're the number one seed for a reason.
Nobody wanted to believe in Denver.
No one did. You did.
No, I did. But I mean, in terms of, but I don't have enough money to be able to affect the marketplace. So I wish I did. I wish I had that kind of dumb money, but I don't have that kind of money to affect the marketplace. But I did. I mean, I thought it was crazy going into the playoffs that the number one seed in the Western Conference was 10-1.
Yeah, it was great
to win the NBA title. Like it was utterly stupid. So yeah, I think. Listen, they're the defense. It's hard to go back to back. We know that works against Denver. Jokic's brilliance is not going to stop. Jamal Murray, as you like to call him, Hamal, is great in the postseason. We know that they're going to be really, really tough. They are, and I think Mike Malone set a tone afterward when you look at the Denver Nuggets after they won that title, saying we're not done yet. The interesting thing is from Boston. Missoula was an issue last year. What is he in his second year as a head coach? And to be honest with you, what is Adrian Griffin going to be like year one in Milwaukee?
Now, that a lot of people are talking about that too, right? Because Damian Lillard has a previous relationship with him because he was there. Not Griffin, I'm sorry, Stotts. Terry Stott is on the coaching staff there. Yeah. So Stott, as one of the top assistants there, kind of helps Griffin a little bit and also can help kind of blend this Lillard relationship. I think they're going to be fine. I think Milwaukee, Boston, I think you're looking at two teams that are going to win 55 or more games this year. Denver's going to be in that same category. I think the Suns are very, very fascinating, like having no real point guard on that team, but Beal, Booker, Durant as like the dudes there. I'm interested to see how this trade just for depth works for them, as opposed to you get rid of Ayton, you get Nurkic, who's fine, and you get, Grayson Allen, who's a good, guy coming off the bench, a few other guys. I think the Lakers are also always fascinating because the big if in the room, if Anthony Davis is healthy, if LeBron James is healthy, if Rui Hachimura takes another step forward, if Austin Reeves looks like he did this summer, you throw all those ifs in there.
Yeah.
The Lakers could potentially be the best team in the West.
And now
I think the book has it right with them as third.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And now the big one that could change the odds board is Harden in Philadelphia. Because
correct.
The 76ers right now are 30-1. Harden has basically gone out there. He's walking around town telling everybody how much he hates the general manager, can't stand Philadelphia, wants the hell out of there. So we'll end up, seeing exactly what happens with Harden and the Philadelphia 76ers.
Could you imagine being in a place in your life where you could just literally talk to anybody you want and say how much you hate your boss?
Yeah.
Publicly.
Yeah, publicly basically say how he's just a terrible human being. Yeah. The 76ers are a liar. And he'll never play for that organization again. And they're like, well, we're willing to work with him.
Yeah. And nah, he's the worst. He's the worst. He's the worst. Yeah, no, we're willing to bring him back. Yeah, we'd like to have him here.
It's crazy.
Amazing. The
That's
world we live
crazy.
in.
I mean, that's one team you'd never touch right now with a 10-foot pole at 30-1 when you're looking at the futures market, which is Philadelphia. Straight ahead, Lucy Burdge is going to join the program. Want to remind everybody about Fantasy Alarm. Start a free 7-day trial at Fantasy Alarm's All-Pro subscription today and get DFS content and NFL picks for Week 5 free. Go to fantasyalarm.com/win. The great Lucy Burdge joins us next. He's Keith Arizari. I'm Mark Malusis. It's Moose and Keith with you on a Tuesday right here, Better Sports Network.
Like Devon Levi started off in the friend zone and now like he could possibly be wife material. So it is exceptionally hard to trust a rookie goalie in the NHL. The kid is what? He's 21. Like, okay. And he is going to the Buffalo Sabres. But we've all agreed that the Buffalo Sabres are at least a somewhat better hockey team on paper. Again, it's hard to trust a rookie goalies. We've seen future Hall of Fame goalies like, Fleury in his first year struggle, right? Carey Price in his first year struggle. It is tough for goalies to come in and have success. That being said, nobody outside of maybe a Buffalo sports fan can tell me who the two goalies on their roster are, because I didn't know until this morning, until I was reminded that it was Eric Comrie and Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. And I was like, okay, well, he has the crease to himself. So all he can do is lose it. That's all he can do. Buffalo is going to be a fun team to watch, which means maybe Devon Levi ends up in what I call the Martin Jones syndrome, which is a goals against average is pretty up there. Save percentage is not very good, but he's going to finish with 35 wins because he's just going to play a lot. And it's going to be that back and forth hockey. The Atlantic Division is not very good, right? There are some teams that are going to regress. So there's opportunities here for Buffalo to do well. And I think his over-under on wins is set at 24.5. So again, there's a lot of things that I may not trust about him. But as a 13th goalie off the board, and I think that is a reach at 13. I think a lot of people have him farther back than that. So he may be 13 on NHL.com's list, but you may end up and show up in your Yahoo or your ESPN draft, and they haven't ranked probably outside of the top 20. So I would have no issue as a second goalie going with Levi, because like, who's taking his spot? Nobody. And volume at one point, if you're in a league that doesn't penalize you for losses, if you're in a league that rewards saves and save bonuses like, for daily, DraftKings does, he has all that working for him. So if it doesn't work out, all right, fine. Then you can go and pick up whoever is there. But it is his net to lose. I understand the risk. I will definitely take, because that's how you win championships, right? You got to take risks to win them. If you're safe, you're going to finish, eliminated in the first round and you had a good time. Or you could try to win the championship on draft day.
It's Moose and Keith with Mark Malusis and Keith Irizarry.
Happy Tuesday, one and all. We haven't chatted with this lady in quite some time. That is the great Lucy Burdge, sports betting Odyssey Sports, BetQL, BetMGM. She's all over the place, friend of the program. Good morning, Lucy. How are you?
Good morning. I missed you guys. I'm doing great. Baseball playoffs start today in the NFL. It's just an exciting time.
Yeah, we missed you too. And I knew you were trouble when you walked in. I was wondering if there was any bad blood because you might have had a cruel summer, but you do have great style and you live an enchanted lifestyle.
Yes, and I really did feel a blank space without both of you.
Oh,
Yes.
thank you.
There you go.
What do you, because I'm into it. I'm enjoying it.
I am too.
What do you make of the Kelsey Swift stuff? Like, I think it was fantastic Sunday night. There's Wolverine. There's, I haven't seen Blake
Ryan
Lively.
Reynolds.
The Mint Mobile Man is
Blake
there.
Lively and Ryan Reynolds, they lived up here in Pound Ridge, which is not that far from me. Like, they're there at the game that night. Yeah, so you look at, it was great seeing Blake. Like, it was just amazing. Like, I'm into it.
I think it's really fun, but I am into this under the guise that it is all fake. It is completely a NFL setup, and the relationship is just to sell things and to cross fan bases, to bring in the Taylor Swift fan base. But it's not that I'm not enjoying it, but I'm watching the game, and there is a fatigue factor when it comes to mentioning Taylor Swift. And it started the beginning of the pregame show on Sunday night to like the end of the postgame show. Literally, as they were ending the postgame show, they mentioned Taylor Swift twice. As I'm turning the television off, that's what I hear. It gets to be a bit much. And I don't hate it. I like Taylor Swift, but if they just mentioned her like a little less, like even if Keith, if this was Eminem and they were doing this, they were bringing him into Lions games, that I would be fatigued. I'd be like, all right, enough.
I don't believe you.
No, when you hear somebody's name a million times and you hear about somebody a million times, you get a little sick of it. There is a fatigue factor. So I would say that I'm not enjoying it. I love the, like, what's she going to wear? Who are they going to leave the game together? Which they did not. This game, they did not leave the game together.
But he may or may not have been at her place the day
night
of
before.
Yeah.
See, this stuff I don't mind. I don't mind.
But then I heard someone saying that no. He woke up early and drove over there to bring her breakfast. He didn't spend the night. So that's where like, whoa.
Spin factor. The PR people are out. He's a great guy.
So yeah, like if you're correct in there and this isn't fully true, that would actually make the most sense that he didn't spend the night there. He got up early, like just so he could make sure that there was a picture of him coming out of there, even though he really didn't spend the night.
Exactly. I never underestimate the lengths they go to set things up and to make things look more real than they actually are, which I don't hate. It's a show. The whole thing is entertainment. It's a show. I don't mind that at all.
But all right, so let's go under the assumption. Let's do it's fake. Okay, let's do that angle.
Of course.
If it's fake, how does Travis Kelce not come out of this looking bad? Do you know what I mean?
Yes. So if they mutually part ways and she maybe does like what Ariana Grande did with Pete Davidson and is like, oh, but he's very well endowed. Something like that where they comes out.
Pete Davidson loved that giveaway. Oh,
he got so much mileage out of that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
And upsets about that. And he's like, I know everyone wants to ask this question. So he can get so much mileage out of this. Taylor could throw him a bone like that, so to speak. And maybe that will be the parting gift of all of this, is that Travis Kelce comes out of this.
So you don't think in a year from now we're talking about engagement?
Oh,
well,
I want them to be married and
the
kids
thing.
to be coming.
Here's the thing. I think that could happen. That could be part of the whole thing. They get married and maybe they have kids. Maybe they get married for the bit. I mean, what else
That's
are you
going
doing?
a little far for the bit.
I would do it for a bit. I would do it. Who knows how much Taylor's getting paid? Not that she needs to get paid, but there's something going on here where Taylor Swift declined doing the halftime show, the Super Bowl. Instead, the NFL was like, you know what? We'll do you one better where you actually get paid for it. And you can have a whole life out of what.
Do you think there's at least like there? You know, like it's not love. Even if they are dating right now, I don't think it's love like 3 weeks in. Do you think there's like?
I think there's attraction. He's hot. So
Yeah,
I
he's
think
a good-looking guy
and
she's pretty, you know,
Yeah, he's like the funny, like goofball kind of. I don't know if he's fun. Well, actually, you know what? On SNL, he was great.
Oh, he was great.
He was really great on SNL. The American Girl doll sketch was memorable. That was really good. And he actually, I will say, had some Young Gravy vibes in there. He kind of looked like Young Gravy with the wig. So I kind of love that. I love Young Gravy. I'm telling you, Young Gravy is a great musical artist. Just as a side note there.
I have all of his music downloaded. Don't worry.
About this. We talked about this.
Yeah, I love me some Young Gravy. Yes.
He's
I want more music.
Yes, exactly. I need more Young Gravy. But Travis Kelce, some vibes of that. But no, I think that this could end in marriage for the bit. And she was sitting next to Donna Kelce. This is moving. In an
I think it's great. And what about if you're Usher? I mean, he gets announced that he's going to be the halftime show and
buried.
Got like an avalanche.
Yeah,
people are like,
nobody's
who's doing
talking
the
about
halftime
that.
show? The NFL had the announcement that morning, and basically that afternoon, Taylor Swift was at the Chiefs game, and it's been Taylor Swift now for like 9 straight days.
Yep, and that's
These
the
are my
fatigue.
confessions.
Yeah, right. Which is a great song. Also, "Caught Up," great Usher
Yes.
song. The beginning of that song
Caught
I
Up.
like the best.
Mm.
And so the who also got buried in this, Alex Earl, TikTok star, is dating Braxton Berrios. So this is also what convinced me that this is probably fake. The NFL trying to cross fan bases. Alex Earl was at the Dolphins game the day Taylor Swift was first made her appearance at the Chiefs game. So Alex Earl did a video that the NFL tweeted out from their account where she said like, "Oh, hey, it's Alex. I'm at the Dolphins game. Like, fins up." And they tweeted it out from the NFL account. That's a big deal. Oh, maybe it's not as big a deal anymore because they're tweeting Taylor Swift stuff all the time. But I think that them tweeting that out kind of shows, we want to cross into this world of this generation, which I don't think is a bad thing at all. I like that they tweeted that out. I like Alex Earl. I don't mind this at all. But then Taylor Swift comes to town and buried. Like Alex Earl at the Dolphins game. Nope. Not even a thing. Not even a thing. So I think that's what they're trying to do. And I don't hate it though.
Yeah. Side note, because I know both of you love stories. Do you know that Usher, I had some of his lyrics in my wedding vows.
No way.
From You Got
Which
It Bad.
song?
When you hang up and you call right back, you got it bad. Like
that's
there's a few
really
lines.
sweet.
Yeah, I had that in my wedding vows. Yep.
Oh, that's really nice.
yeah.
I think Usher should apologize to, I believe it was T-Pain, who he hurt his feelings so badly that T-Pain entered a very dark place years and years and years ago.
Because of the auto-tune.
Yes. And I think T-Pain is one hell of a guy. So I think Usher should apologize. And I think about that quite frequently. Whenever I think of T-Pain, I'm like, I really hope Usher has apologized by now. Maybe at the halftime show.
Yeah. She's looking at me.
I love T-Pain.
What was were you sad that the sock season came to an end?
I was more relieved that, well, here's the thing is that was also, it came the same day, literally at the same time that it was announced that Tim Wakefield had passed away.
Yeah.
So it was kind of the focus was more on that and how devastating that was than the season ending. And I did kind of get to say goodbye to the season. I was at Fenway for their final home game. So I walked around and just thought about what a special season it was, having been able to go to Fenway so much, not so much what was on the field, but having to experience the season that way was very special. So in that way, it kind of ended last week for me. And these final games, it was like, all right, I know some people had the over 76.5 wins, and the final game did come down to will that hit or not. I had over 80, so it didn't really matter to me so much, because I knew they weren't going to hit that. So that for some people, that was very, very important to them for that final game to be a win, which it was. But yeah, no, it was kind of took a backseat to the like sadness of it ending. Really did take a backseat to the Wakefield situation. So it was so it was a kind of different ending to the season.
Terribly sad news.
Awful. Oh God, awful. And it was it's kind of surreal. And the most surreal thing kind of was thinking it doesn't really hit you until a couple hours in, when I was like, oh my God, when you see Veritek reacting to it, you see players that you watched when I was 12 years old.
Yeah.
Reacting to this, thinking this is real, like this. And he did so much for the community. I mean, I know it's been said a million times, but I was at an event with him once a long time ago, the Jimmy Fund event, and I didn't get to meet him, but he was with the kids. I mean, the whole time. He just it meant a lot to him, the community and the team, and he was just, as everyone has said, a consummate baseball player and a Red Sox player. And it's just, he was a tremendous person. So it's even horribly sad.
What was it? Was it the 04, 06 World Series that he 07, sorry,
07.
that he said, take me off the roster.
Yep.
I can't help the team win.
Yep. No pasta or lobster. Take me off the roster. He was he thought about the team first. That was how he was. And it was amazing how he conducted himself, and he was the least selfish person you could ever imagine. He was just
no doubt
incredible.
Tremendous loss, and thoughts and prayers obviously go out to Tim's family and friends and everybody that knew him. Tremendous Red Sox player on the field and a tremendous humanitarian off of it. Lucy, Keith and I were talking about Jrue Holiday before you came on. The Celtics making kind of a transformative moves this offseason. Holiday there, Porzingis there. You still have got the staples and Tatum and Jaylen Brown. what's the take and what's the buzz about Boston, the Celtics, that is, in Beantown?
I love this. I love this trade, and it could not have come at the more perfect time because you've got the Patriots in an absolute disaster of a situation. The Red Sox in kind of no man's land in terms of what's going to happen with the season next year. So I think this is perfect. This is a perfect time for this because I have more faith in the Celtics now than I did the other day, which I still had them to win the finals. The other day was my pick to win the finals. And I have them even more so now to win the finals because I think this is a perfect situation for them they have a star, so to speak. Now they have a name and they have Jason Tatum, and that's two leaders right there. They have two leaders that can lead them to the finals. The biggest thing though, I think, is that what it shows is that this team and this front office is all in on the Celtics this year and they're willing to invest.
I'm a little bit worried about their depth. They don't have much depth, but when you talk about star power,
defense.
But you take their top 4 and then Horford, White, and you hope that Peyton Pritchard takes a step forward.
Then
he'll
be healthy, maybe.
He was my top 4. He was in
gotcha.
top 4. Yeah. All right, so baseball, we're getting the playoffs are getting started today. You are the queen of and
dongs, baby.
And I wanted to wait because I was going to ask you this earlier. And then you started talking about Pete Davidson. So
that
you see
graphic, I love that. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah. Bernsey, our
our
producer, made that for you.
Yeah.
He could send that to you if you want.
Burns,
so
you are a star. Look at that.
All right. So Queen, do you have any home run picks for today? Maybe?
I do. Kyle Schwarber to hit a home run. It's a classic. It's your tuxedo pick of the day. But I think with the importance of this game, a wild card game, Kyle Schwarber is going to step up, and I think he will hit a home run today.
I mean, all right. So hold on. So you're going lefty on lefty crime there, right?
Yeah.
So
here's the thing.
Okay.
End of the season, he had 1 home run in his last 2 games. He had 2 in his last 4 against Jesus Luzardo. He has 9 at bats against him in his career. He has a home run and a single already against him. So he has had this kind of success against Jesus Luzardo before. And again, with the crucial nature of this game today, Kyle Schwarber, home run.
I go Yandy. Yandy would be my home run today in the first game of the day. But I'm not against your Schwarber play. I actually don't think it would come against Luzardo. I think it might end up coming later in the game off the bullpen.
Okay. I like that.
Still would work for you.
As long as this hits, then the dong counts.
Are you going to be watching baseball? It does. That's no doubt about it. Are you going to be watching baseball throughout the course of the day?
Yes, I will be. The dong
you just killed me there.
I will be watching baseball throughout the day. I am very excited because it's that there's a kind of a dip in a lull in football. So having baseball on television is it's always a good thing.
Well,
so
we could familiarize.
October's the best month.
The Patriots are terrible, as are
They're
the
awful.
Brooklyn Giants.
I took the alternate total on the Patriots this year. I haven't actually told this to anybody this year yet. But I did bet on this before the season. The under 5.5 wins. I have the under 5.
I would go under 3.5 wins.
Yeah, I took that.
I don't see this team doing anything. It is really depressing because this team has no juice. It's not that they've given up, of course, but that's the vibe. Bill Belichick with his head in his hands.
Yeah. And 30 seconds. So I think Moose is officially on board now. Mac Jones is not a good quarterback, correct?
Nope, terrible. And anyone who was on the Mac Island, I feel sorry for you because he's just not good. He's just not good. Yeah, I wanted to be so badly. I wanted him to be the future. He's just not. He just isn't it.
I think you tank and you draft Caleb. Done.
That's what I think they're doing now. They're like, you know what? We Belichick. I think he's like, no, we're gonna out bad the Browns and all the other teams and the Bears. The Bears. That's who that's who I meant. All the B teams. Yeah, that's who I meant. So I think that would be a really good idea because they need a quarterback.
Lucy, you're the best. We appreciate it. Thanks for cutting out some time for us this morning. Enjoy all the baseball today. Good luck with your Schwarber pick as being the queen of dongs, all right?
Thank you very much. Good luck to all the bets today. You guys are the best.
I hope there are no teardrops on your guitar.
Her best song.
100%.
Can I just say that?
No.
100% her best song.
When Jrue looks at me, exactly.
Yeah. Teardrops on my guitar. Beautiful. Yeah. So happy Taylor Swifting to all of you, and may all the dongs hit today.
There you go. At Lucille Burdge, Sports Betting Odyssey Sports, BetQL, BetMGM. There you have it. We'll come back. We've got some baseball playoffs get going. We got some selections with RT Sports. We'll do that next. He's Keith Irizarry. I'm Mark Malusis. It's Moose and Keith with you right here, Better Sports Network.
Oh boy, we got a big one. We got a big card here. We got
let's go.
We got a super rookie.
Ooh.
Do you guys want to guess who the big card super rookie is? Because
I'm going to guess
exciting.
somebody from the Dallas Cowboys, but I don't recall who were rookies in those particular years. So I'm going to guess Michael Irvin.
Adam?
Jared kind of convinced me to go Troy Aikman there.
I'm going to read the description. In this player's NFL debut, September 10th, 1989, he produced an electrifying 68-yard punt return for a touchdown.
Sanders.
He became the first athlete in the 20th century to hit a home run, September 5th, 1989, for the Yankees at Seattle, and score a touchdown in the same week.
That needs a sleeve. That one needs a sleeve.
Top
100%.
super rookie, neon, prime time, Deion Sanders.
I wasn't that far off. He played for the Cowboys.
I was going to say Deion, and then when you said the early 90s Cowboys, I'm like, oh, Aikman would be a good guess. So I go with your gut is the lesson there.
And there it is, the white and red Falcon jerseys that you said Deion came in with before they changed to black.
That was because the starting lineup for Deion his rookie year has got the red helmet with the white jersey.
Now look at that mean, are you kidding me with that hair?
I mean, you got to have a headband with those curls. You got to.
That is sick. And this is a favorite card. Do we have any value on this card? We have to, right?
Let me see.
Give me a value here.
Let's see here on eBay. PSA 10 gem mint Deion Sanders, $149.99. And then a 9.5 is $6. So that guy might be a little bit then there's a much more reasonably listed one at $31 for a PSA 10. So it's got some value to it. Yeah, you might want to protect that one.
It's in excellent condition. I guess we have to worry about, is it centered?
Yes, that would be the next thing.
All right, well, we'll go through the process there. Maybe I'll just frame that one as a great moment in this show's history.
It's Moose and Keith with Mark Malusis and Keith Irizarry.
All right, 10 to noon. Moose and Keith with you. Time to get into our real-time sports. And we got baseball playoffs game going today. Play the real-time sports pick'em contest. Set a lineup of player props. Hit them all and win. Combine multiple sports or play your favorite NFL, MLB, PGA, more. 2 correct wins 3 times, all the way up to 6 correct wins 40 times your entry. Go to rtsports.com/alarm. First-time depositors get 100% instant match up to $200. Please play responsibly. For help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, so we got a 308 game, 438 game, 708 game, and an 808 game. Let's just go chronologically here. So Rangers, Rays, Montgomery, Glasnow, Moose, I'll go first. I don't love a lot on this game. What I did come away with, and I think has a good chance, is Yandy Diaz to score a run today. Listen, he bats towards the top of the order, so there's more opportunities, maybe another chance for him to get on base. Scored at least 1 run in 4 of the final 6 games that he was healthy for during the regular season. So Yandy Diaz, a guy that battled for an AL batting crown and was maybe one of the more underappreciated Tampa Bay Rays all year long. Give me Yandy to score a run.
All right, you like Yandy Diaz. I'll take Taylor Glasnow over 7 strikeouts.
Okay.
I like Tampa in the series. I'll take the game 1 starter, Glasnow, over 7 strikeouts against Texas.
All right. Next one will be 4:38 p.m. Eastern. It's the Blue Jays and the Twins, Gausman and Pablo Lopez. And I think you could look at both of these pitchers and think, hey, there could be lots of strikeouts. So I'll go with Gausman simply because the Twins strike out the most in all of Major League Baseball. They average over 10 strikeouts per contest. So give me the more than 6.5 strikeouts. It's something he's done in 4 of his last 7 starts. And he had well over 200 strikeouts all season long. I know things tighten up in the postseason, but I think Gausman, provided he can get you 6 innings, should get you 7 Ks.
All right, so you like Gausman over 7 Ks. I'll go Bo Bichette, more than 6 fantasy points.
Ooh. He's one of the only people that I think I have more hair envy of him than even you. Like, I like your hair. You have great hair. But Bo Bichette's got some lettuce.
I'm jealous of Bo Bichette's hair.
He's got some lettuce.
Oh, he really does. So
by the way, best commercial on TV right now is the one with Common talking about that hair is overrated. Like, anyway, but like hair is for suckers or whatever. Next one, I'm just saying, I believe Common, you and me. Diamondbacks and the Brewers, Brandon Pfaadt and Corbin Burns. Be honest with you, I don't have a play for this game. Do you have something on this one?
I do not.
Okay. All right. I look through the picks here. I think that Milwaukee could get after Brandon Pfaadt. He showed some moderate signs, young pitcher. Corbin Burns, while he's still really good, has not been the Corbin Burns of, Cy Young quality. He's been good. I just couldn't figure this game out. So I think that sometimes a no decision on a play is actually a decision. You don't have to pick something just to pick something. 808, Marlins and the Phillies, Luzardo and Wheeler. What you got?
Luzardo or Wheeler.
Or any other play in this game.
I would take Zach Wheeler more than 6.5 Ks.
Ooh, I'm going opposite of you. I'm going to go less than 6.5 Ks. So the Marlins, the 6th least strikeouts per game, 7.94. So, obviously Wheeler, if he reaches that number, he would hit the over. But Wheeler had 4 consecutive games to end the season with 6 or less strikeouts. Now, the final game, I think you kind of throw it out the window. It's just kind of a tune-up for the postseason. He ended up only pitching 4 innings. But I think this is one of those games where I think it's going to be low scoring. And I think that Wheeler, while he may pitch a good game, I think he only gets about 5 or 6 strikeouts. So I'm going to go under.
All right, you're going to go under, and I'll buy into what Lucy likes. Kyle Schwarber to hit a home run. We'll go with the Queen of Dongs, Kyle Schwarber over a half a hit.
All right, there you go. There's our RT Sports.
Love it. Love it.
All right, so there's a little baseball for you. How excited are you about today? Like, how much baseball are you going to chance to watch?
I'm going to watch. Okay. I got to be honest with you. Well, for what we do, you have to pay attention to what's going on. So I'm going to be watching. The fact that there's no Mets or Yankees involved does hurt. Does hurt what my interest in it.
All right. So I'm going to give you this. I'm not overly excited about this round, and I'll say this because the Rays are not a team I generally care that much about. The Rangers were just too helter-skelter for me all year long. The Blue Jays, okay. The Twins, all right. The Brewers, all right. The Diamondbacks actually fascinate me a little bit because I think they've got good pitching and they got a lot of, like Corbin Carroll is an absolute stud. I would like to see them do some stuff, although Milwaukee is a sneaky pick of a lot of people to kind of make it through the NL because of their pitching staff. And the Marlins and Phillies are fine. I think it's the next round that gets really exciting. Seeing the Orioles back in the postseason and winners of over 100 games. Finish this all off because they are such a dominant team in every facet of the game. And of course, the LA Dodgers are always there.
Yeah, I think it's going to get. I think it's going to get more and more interesting here. How we move forward. Taking a quick look at the rounds, I think Tampa's going to take care of business against Texas. I think Minnesota's too banged up. I think Toronto's going to win. Arizona, Milwaukee is interesting because the Brewers are dealing with all kinds of injuries. I think Philadelphia could get hot again like they did last year, but Philadelphia, Miami is interesting here to get going. I think all those things are fascinating. I think, the fact is that we get on here. It's going to be very, very difficult, I believe, for anybody to go beat the Atlanta Braves unless something drastically changes and some significant injury happens.
All right, so in 60 seconds is what we have left right here. Let's quickly do it. All right, so you have the Blue Jays or the Twins. So do I. That would mean Blue Jays versus Astros. Who do you have?
I would take the Astros.
Fine. You have the Rays over the Rangers. I agree. Rays against Orioles. Who you have?
Orioles.
Cool. So now you have Orioles and Astros. Who's going to the World Series?
I think it's going to be the Orioles.
Okay, I'd probably go Astros. All right, Diamondbacks and Brewers. Who you taking?
I'll take the Diamondbacks.
I think I'm going to take the Brewers.
I could go either way.
Yeah, I think I'll take the Brewers. Okay. Marlins, Phillies?
Phillies.
Agreed. Phillies, Braves?
Braves.
Dodgers and whomever?
Dodgers.
Cool.
Braves.
Dodgers, Braves. Braves are in. So you have Braves versus the Orioles.
Yes.
And I have Braves versus the Astros, and then you have Braves winning it all?
I have the Braves winning it.
Yeah, me too. I have the Braves winning all. I think the Braves just look like, barring something catastrophic injury or whatever, I think they just look like they have been the best team all year long, and they're not slowing down.
Guys, enjoy the baseball playoffs. That's going to do it for Moose and Keith here on this Tuesday. We'll be back with you Friday morning at 11 a.m. Enjoy all the sports. Talk to you then.
Later.